Hi, I'm Emma Heim.
And I'm Travis Heim.
This is Heim Time Podcast. Welcome back. This is our 9th episode.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. If you're following along, we are on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Our Twitter is at Heim Time Podcast. We're also on YouTube, Heim Time ! on YouTube. And we also have a Patreon. So if you're already a member of our Patreon, we're really thankful for you. And we have some more exciting things coming up now that we're finding our feet and our way again after having a baby and a pandy. We are back at it full time. So Patreon is patreon.com/HeimTimePodcast.
So on Patreon, you can support us for $5 a month, which if you're like us, you have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Peloton, what else? Disney.
Literally, yeah, Disney.
So what's another $5, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. But on patreon.com, we have, we release all the video episodes early. You can ask us any question and we will answer it. If you do on like Twitter or something, we'll probably ignore most of them. But on Patreon, you can ask us anything, topics. We're going to do some specific videos on there. Actually, on our next barbecue class, I'm going to film it. And then we will put it on Patreon for our Patreon
That's a
followers.
great idea.
Thank you. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we've been doing, but we're going to do some more on there. So follow us, Patreon, patreon.com/HeimTime Podcast. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Hit it, Paul.
Good evening from Fort Worth, Texas. It's slow here in the heat. We're down Main
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
It's Heim Time.
It's Heim Time. We're back again.
We're back again, episode 9.
That's nuts.
It doesn't seem like the 9th episode of the podcast.
We've made it.
We've officially gotten to the point where I'm like, did we already talk about that?
I do too, so sorry. And thank you if you are listening. I'm like, wait, did we talk about this?
That may happen, but our restaurant spotlight for this week, I had to text you, did we already do this?
Yeah.
Which we've only done like 3 of those, so...
Thanks for listening,
surprising.
Everyone.
Yeah, if you've listened to all of the episodes, we really appreciate it, especially all of our Patreon followers, patrons, subscribers, whatever that is called. We really appreciate it, and I think we're going to do some cool new stuff here. We're again at the Nexum Creative Studios, right, with Paul and Dozer, his little puppy, which is adorable.
So cute.
Very adorable guy. We'll have to bring him on maybe in a little bit. Just like put him right here maybe. He might pee on it, but he's a puppy. So, but yeah, we're going to do some cool videos, some other stuff. So, it won't just be us talking about, hashtag Free Britney or whatever our problems
very relevant
of the day are. We can do some other cool stuff, some recipe videos, some other things. So very exciting. How have you been?
I'm good. I feel pretty good. I had a little cold for a little bit, but I'm back. 4th of July weekend was fun.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything too crazy, which was actually really nice. A lot of people came out to the restaurants, which was great.
I think we've officially discovered our daughter loves water. She's a big water fan.
Yeah. She loves bath time, but specifically in the pool, our friends had this like giant floaty specifically for little babies, and she loved it. Was splashing for like 30 minutes, and we were like, we should take her out. She's going to get waterlogged. But she was...
But then like, I'll have another White Claw.
I had 2 White Claws. That was you.
Okay, I was talking about myself.
Okay. So anyway...
that was my highlight of 4th of July. I would say,
and we immediately Amazoned and got the floaty. So it's on the island at the house, and we're going to do it later.
Shout out Amazon.
Always. I don't know. Is that a topic? Is that bad?
I don't know. Some people don't like Amazon.
Some people don't like Amazon.
Well, I think a lot of it's tied into Bezos and being a billionaire.
Right.
Or, are they taxed enough? And like Paul and I were talking about before the show, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, what if he runs for president?
Elected.
Already has your vote. Yeah. You didn't even have to think about it. Already has your vote.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know. I guess Reagan was a
Movie star, right?
yeah, and then they're saying McConaughey maybe
Definitely has my vote.
for governor. I mean, what does that guy know about anything? Weed would be legal, which I guess is a
There you
positive.
go.
Like that's probably day one for him. Number one
Yeah,
thing he's got to do.
it's important.
Be playing bongos on every quarter.
All right, so let's get into this.
I thought we were.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, do you want to talk about Amazon and weed or
Sure. I could do a whole episode on that. What?
weed? That was a thing this couple of weeks with the Olympics.
Oh yeah, Shikari.
Shakari Richardson.
Richardson. Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me. Failed her drug test for THC
Right.
and is no longer able to even. I think she was going to do like the 100-meter dash thing with.
Which that's the one that they were, I guess, the way it works is there's like you have to sit out for a certain amount of time
30
or
days.
something. But then if you do like a drug rehab, which for weed is hilarious, but then if you do that, then they shorten it or something.
Mhm.
So she could still compete in the 400 meter, I think, or like the team
It was
relay.
a relay, I think.
And they just announced yesterday that the team, whoever the Olympic team, whatever, didn't choose
Yeah,
her.
she's
for
not
that.
on the roster.
So she could have done that, but then they didn't choose her.
So,
for that.
but why wouldn't they? Because of just everything
Well,
that's
it's a
gone
whole-
on.
I mean, it's like the number one news story in America.
Yeah, but they would have won. She's the fastest one.
She's fastest and she's smoking weed, so it's like just imagine
There
if
you
she
go.
didn't.
But weed is okay.
What?
But I mean, she's still the fastest while smoking weed. That doesn't mean that she's not the fastest, right?
I agree. I did see though, because we looked this up just so we could talk more about it, and I didn't want to seem dumb, but the anti-doping whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they do have marijuana listed as a like thing you can't use for some reason, because I guess to some extent can be a performance enhancing drug, which I think is
Really?
ridiculous, but that's the thing. And this is the very everybody's like, oh my God, whatever. But then on the other side of it, that was the rule, and she knew the
Yeah.
rule.
Which is what Biden said. Rules are rules. That's what he said when
Right,
in
yeah.
response.
Which I think he also said that, and then it was taken out of context because he also said like he thought it was stupid, but that rules are rules. So it's unfortunate. She's went to Dallas Carter High School.
Oh,
So she's local and then went
Mhm.
to LSU and stuff. So it's kind of it's a bummer, I think, even more for like Dallas Fort Worth people because
Yeah.
this chick's a badass with the hair and everything and
Yeah.
the nails and just kicking everyone's ass. And it was like, I guess her mom died, which is just, it's all
Mhm.
around sad. But I don't know. I
but
think
is that an old rule at this point?
somebody said too, like 20 of the countries that are in the Olympics, marijuana is legal.
Oh,
And then if you look at the United States, how many states is marijuana legal? So
is she living in Louisiana?
I don't know.
I
don't
thought I
think so.
read that like where she's living, it's legal.
I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't know
I think
much
so.
about this topic.
Anyway, I was just gonna ask if it was is that rule from like 1950s? Like, should we update it? It's 2021.
I don't know. I mean,
should
that's
we
something-
update it? Like, I have the power.
Well, there was two shout out to, I forget the name of his podcast, but Fort Podcast with Chris Powers.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's called the Fort Podcast, maybe. I don't know. But Chris Powers, look it up. It's a great podcast. He's a friend of ours. He had a guy on, Nishant. I forget his last name. But he's the CEO of Macaroni Grill. It was a really awesome
Oh, cool.
podcast, really interesting. And anyway, he's in on some Nishant, not Chris, but he's in on some tea. It's a cannabis drink, but it's like comes in like a 750 milliliter bottle. And then the idea is just how you would like vodka or something at your house. You have a party, you get a soda water, get some juice
Mixer.
or whatever. So it's really interesting. But I guess I bring that up. I think this is on a small scale where people that because this is really too, it's like tied to race. Like that's a big problem with like marijuana reform and everything in general is, you know, a lot of times it's African Americans, minorities who are the ones that are like in jail and getting the brunt of this. Meanwhile, like California, Colorado, stuff's legalized. And I don't know, it seems weird, but I think this was a small example of you needed some kind of like thing to happen where everybody's like, no, this is really stupid, right? Like, there's like 65, I think Nishant said there's like 65% of Americans that agree with legalizing cannabis, which is like 65% of Americans don't agree on anything. So it's like this maybe was a positive, I guess, if you care about that, where you're like, okay, you can see like this is a really stupid thing. Just let her run in the Olympics. But then I saw there was also like a male athlete who's been suspended, who's a sprinter, I think, who it's the same thing, he's failed drug tests. If you're a football guy like me, Josh Gordon, who even though he went to Baylor, one of the best receivers coming out of college, in college, and then for a couple years, and the dude just couldn't not, you know.
That guy's huge. That's that really big guy?
No, you're thinking of a different guy. He's just a receiver.
Oh.
And then there's a guy, Randy Gregory, for the Cowboys that he sat out like two or 3 years basically because he was dealing with, you know, that, which, you know, in the NBA, I don't think they care at all. But I don't know. You got to think at some point, like, let's quit this.
Right.
Is it really that big of a deal? I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, unfortunately for her, it's probably, you know, she might be the turning point in the whole thing, but she's not going to get a gold medal because of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Olympics are weird in general, right? I mean, it's like, you know, nationalism and like our country's better than yours and everything. And it's, it seems odd to me to some respects, but it's also like, you know, it's badass, like
it's the
patriotic,
best.
And yeah, I do. I mean, I
used to watch it growing up. I loved it.
Which I don't think my family did. Which maybe that's a part of it. Where I'm like, oh, whatever. But then you said y'all would watch.
Oh yeah, like every night we'd all like sit down and watch the highlights and all that. So how was the 4th?
Good. We had a great time. We didn't. For probably the first time in a while, we didn't shoot off any fireworks.
No.
We didn't even purchase fireworks or anything like that.
Well, it was okay. We didn't even see any fireworks either.
Oh, I saw some fireworks from our neighbors next door.
Oh, I was going to ask about that.
Okay. Yeah.
What happened?
It was fine. I mean, you know, we've been not feeling great the last week, you know, and then our daughter is 6 months and is, you know, the light of our life. But the last couple of days was kind of struggling to get to sleep. And then once we got her to sleep, then she sleeps through the night.
A little off schedule.
Which is a blessing. And we had to do a bunch of family stuff last week, which was, you know, great. And I love it. I'm very happy for my family. But it threw off the schedule of the child and everything. And you're like, okay. So anyway, the other night, so this was the 5th, and this is totally like a get off my lawn old guy.
Right.
Thing. Like I'm officially that guy now. I think I've crossed over into the plane of like, I'm going to start buying starched, you know, jean shorts from Costco and, and just really just do the whole bit.
It's like from 0 to that. How did that happen?
I don't know.
Well, I know taxes.
Taxes, fatherhood.
Property tax. Paying for your grass.
But so anyway, and it worked out well, I would say. But two, we also like, I put this on Twitter and some people are like, oh, what a baby, you know, and I'm
saying
like,
you're a baby? Yeah, we have a baby and it's not fun when she wakes up.
So, and two, across the street from us, not to be like, hey, you know, we're doing great, but there are 2 houses under construction that are like in the middle of framing, basically, just kind of like a giant wood pile, you know? So
not great.
If you're shooting, you know, ballistics, explosives into the air that are exploding, not smart, right? I would think. I don't know much about fire or you know, anything like that, but you
don't?
Well, yeah. So anyway, the other night we were watching The Sopranos, which we just started.
Yeah,
no
great.
spoilers, please, right? But it's awesome.
Great show.
Just got done with season 1. We're, I guess, just out of shows, so we're like, we'll watch this.
Yeah,
show
well,
from 20
Tony
years
needed
ago.
us.
It's awesome. I love it. Not to. We can talk about that in a minute, but then so anyway, you had fallen asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Our baby had been asleep for 2 hours, but was literally like crying for 2 hours, and we're like, "What do we do? Do we, And so finally, she's asleep. I'm like, "Okay, just finish this episode," and then I just hear like a, like just like
That was
right,
really
like
good. sound
right
effects.
outside of our window. You know
Right.
what I mean? And our kids' room is at the front of the house. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I like run to the bathroom window, look out, and they're like shooting off fireworks. And so I like threw a shirt on, ran outside, and politely asked the neighbor if they could not do that because we have a 6-month-old. And he was very friendly about it and was just like, "You should, no problem, man, whatever." And I was like just steaming. Just
Were you also
I
like, the
can't-
holiday was yesterday, bro?
Well, it was just like an 11:30,
Yeah.
like what you could have done it 2 hours ago when she was like crying and stuff. And then it's like, maybe that would have like distracted her. That would have been fine. But 11:30 on Monday night or whatever, I don't know. But so anyway, then I felt like an asshole. So then I like took him a gift card yesterday, which, I told Catherine about it and she was like, "I wouldn't have done that." I was like,
I
well,
love Catherine. She's
She's
funny.
awesome.
She's our catering director.
yeah.
Plug. If you need
She's like-
catering, Catherine at HeimBBQ.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Catherine
talk about.
C, I think.
Oh, Catherine C.
At
Catherine.
BBQ.com. So anyway, like I don't know if there is firework etiquette or not. I always was like, we would go to the country to shoot off fireworks, like with my family
Yeah.
in East Texas. And
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
well, it's like legally, but then like I saw a thing in LA where there's like a helicopter flying in LA and it's just literally you can see fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
That is
Like,
kind of cool, though.
it's cool, but it's like, you're living in Mogadishu or whatever, and it's just, craziness. So I don't know. This was in the middle of a residential street and thing, and I was like, I feel like I'm in the right that this is probably not, appropriate, but then immediately was like, am I 65-year-old guy who's, yell at the neighbor guy?
Yeah.
But you give me a verdict. What do you
I
think?
mean, I had no idea this was even happening. So I feel like, and neither did Izzy. So I do kind of feel like it was,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I guess.
Well, they did shoot one off. I mean, I wasn't like, I'd like threw a shirt on and ran outside. And
I had
so
no idea.
I shut it down.
Okay. So I guess
immediately.
then that was good. Because if he had kept going, then Izzy and I would have woken up.
Oh my God. If Izzy would have woken
If
up,
Izzy.
so I would have been really, really upset. But yeah, that was all the fireworks that I saw. for
Yeah, I
me.
didn't see one firework.
Yeah.
So, but I did watch The Sopranos and some people die.
A lot of people die. I guess that's part of
The Mob.
the mob. Yeah.
It's a great show. It's like what 1999 or
I
something.
think,
I don't
yeah,
know. The
first
way
season.
I was like, what year is this? And then I noticed like their teenage daughter has like butterfly clips and like platform sneakers, and I was like, okay, based off of these outfits, I would have killed for them first of all. So it's got to be like late 90s.
You noticed that? I noticed the really bad fake boob jobs because there's a lot of naked. They work at
Yeah.
a strip club or whatever, so it's like I was like, oh, those
They
are
work out of a strip club.
90s models, fake boobs
Yeah.
there for sure.
So that's don't watch with your children.
Yeah,
There's pair of boobs in every episode, if not a couple pairs of boobs.
yeah. I think that's kind of the bit, right? Like it's not even related to the story. They're just
No, they're just,
Tony's
like,
talking,
boobs.
and then yeah, just
Boobs
some-
walk by.
Yeah, you're like okay, well,
pair of boobs.
good, great show so far though.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Maybe if you're listening to this, you could send us recommendations on shows because now that Izzy goes down at like 7, that's like our like yes, like, what are we gonna do? Like let's watch something. Let's watch The Sopranos or whatever. And so if there's a good show that you like and can recommend, then let us know.
For sure. I thought something to steal from the ticket, but they do stupid movie reviews or something related to that. So like they'll do like Tokyo Drift, you know,
gosh.
or hey, what do you mean? Oh gosh,
No.
it's great.
Let's not get into it.
It's great.
Every time it's on, you have to watch it.
It's a great film. Anything with Vin
puppy.
Diesel. Oh, Dozer.
Hi, Dozer.
Yeah, or like Grandma's Boy or something like
Great
that. So,
one.
you know, we could do something like that. Watch a video, a movie.
Okay.
It'd be funny if you recommended like something that you enjoy, and then I recommended like Out Cold or something like
Okay.
stupid that, you know.
Let's do it for next time.
I'm really excited, and I feel like very nasally now that I've sat here and talked for a minute, but am I okay?
Sound okay?
Ted Lasso?
Yeah, and that's such a sweet show.
Okay.
Well, I thought like, you know, when you took the guy
know where
that
you're
you
going
took
with
the
that.
guy the gift card.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in season 1, he has a moment where he like flips out of one of his workers, and then the next day he like apologizes. It's kind of like Ted Lasso.
Are you saying I'm Ted Lasso?
Kind of.
That might be the nicest thing she's ever said. Will you record that, Paul? Are we recording?
I love that show. It's so wholesome.
It's
super
really good.
Sweet.
But too, July 23rd is the second season.
Okay.
So we're coming up. We still got a little time here.
Yeah. What's today? The 7th?
The probably
I don't know.
8th, 7th?
7/7.
7/7.
Oh, it's almost 7-Eleven. Slurpee day.
What?
All
People
right.
just taking like kiddie pools and fill them with
Can you do that?
Slurpees. Well, at one point they said you could take any sort of receptacle in and then fill it in a Slurpee fashion. But then people were literally taking like 30.
Let's line the back of the truck.
Well, I think you have to get it into the store next to the
Oh.
Slurpee machine.
Okay.
So it's like
Just
trash
cups of
cans,
Slurps.
kiddie pools.
All right. What else is going on?
I think that's your switch to the new topic is the all right.
All
Is that
right.
what that is?
All right.
Okay. I wanted to talk about something because this is I don't know, this is kind of a serious issue, but I am sixth or seventh generation Texan. I grew up, obviously born and raised in Fort Worth. It's very near and dear to my heart. And something that a little bit of an issue lately, we have people like you, not to, point any fingers, but Californians that are coming into our cities and causing major issues, really creating a lot of problems, changing things. I don't think for the better. It's arguable, but I think maybe the highlight, the low light of this was the other day when I visited a local independent restaurant to pick up food for us, and I noticed a coming soon sign. And I guess I won't say the name because I don't want to bash them, but a plant-based pizzeria coming to Fort Worth, Texas, near our home. What does that mean?
That's California's fault.
Yeah, I don't know if they're related, but it's got to be.
Okay.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. And you're probably involved somehow, so
Whatever. I have
Explain
barbecue
yourself.
restaurants
have Californians gone too far?
with pizza.
This is one symptom of a much bigger problem.
I mean, if you think so, then that's what you think.
I'm asking you. You're the one, coming to Texas.
Okay, 5 years old.
Seducing Texans, having babies.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha for life.
What is a plant-based pizzeria?
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask. So does that mean there's no like cheese? Is it vegan?
I don't know. I have a lot of questions.
Has Californians gone too far in plant-based pizzas? I don't know. I mean, I guess. No. I mean,
You would eat a plant-based pizza.
I don't understand fully, I guess, what that means. Like, is it, there's like, I guess, vegan. Like, so no cheese.
I don't know. Cauliflower crust, probably,
Hey, I love cauliflower.
which is already offensive. I mean, let's just start with that. That's ridiculous. But
Isn't that near Mama's?
Pretty close.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Which is the exact opposite.
Mama's
of
is like, what?
5 pounds of cheese per
So good.
slice. Yeah, I know it is good. And then they just coat it with garlic butter.
I don't know. It's kind of like there is a market for everything. If I feel like,
guess.
I mean, we'll see how long this is open, but it kind of proves that there is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was offensive, and
Well, you really love pizza too.
I'm a big pizza fan. I would love to open a pizza place. We
Let's do it.
have actually a pizza oven at our commissary kitchen
Yeah.
that I've used a bunch of times, and it's really difficult.
Delicious.
It's like the dough making process is tough, and I don't know.
You haven't done that in a while. That was like pre-Izzy. Like while I was super pregnant, you'd bring home like 15 pizzas, and I was like, "This is the best day of my life."
Yeah, well, our friend bought a brewery pizza place combo thing.
Yeah.
So I was sort of like testing some stuff because he was doing that, but then I don't know. Anyway, but then and that was like too where in the middle of COVID, we're like, what the hell do we do? And we have this pizza oven and,
Yeah.
at our commissary. So we're like, maybe we could do delivery pizza, which thank God we didn't, because I'm sure it would have been a nightmare, even more work for us to do. But
Right.
I would love to open a pizza place. And then that's actually Yell MK, who I'm pretty sure I met at a Uncle Julio's bar waiting for to-go food. He's a TCU fan, follows us on Twitter, super nice guy.
Oh yeah, I think I remember.
Right?
Yeah,
I think
that was a couple years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's super nice.
He suggests opening Meatza, a meat-based pizzeria.
Oh
But so then is that even like the dough is made of meat?
no, okay.
You could do
You have like frog raw dough.
do you have what?
Frog raw.
What do you have? You could do like maybe like some fat in the dough or something, or beef tallow, or just bacon, like a bacon crust. I feel like Little Caesars or somebody did that. In the
Yeah,
past.
it's like double stuffed with like pepperonis and
Hell yeah.
cheese in the crust.
I'm a meat lovers fan usually. I like pepperoni. I think pepperoni, sausage, little jalapeno. You do pineapple on pizza, which a lot of people would have.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Oh, these Californians. Oh.
I mean, strike 1 and 2.
Yeah, I love pineapple pizza, and I know that's a big issue with some people, but don't care. That's what I like.
That's the argument.
That's what I like.
Okay,
You're not going to convince me otherwise.
I feel like it does make sense a little bit. The sweetness.
Yeah,
with-
you can have pineapple on like tacos,
Yeah,
and
Al
it's
pastor.
delicious. Yeah,
delicious.
same.
Well, I'm in your camp. I'm. It doesn't really bother me, but I think rules like that in general are stupid. Like that.
Are they rules or are they just, what are those called? Like,
Yeah.
not rules.
Oh God, are we gonna go into sayings again? We're like the worst at like sayings.
But that's like what is that word? It's something where it's like, it's not a rule, but it's like pretty much understood. Like, if you do this, you're dumb. If you don't do that, you're dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure people listening are like, "You guys are so dumb," but that whatever that ugly delicious David Chang show,
Yeah.
he said something that I thought was interesting, but like authenticity is bullshit, which is like really an interesting thing to say, especially nowadays. But he was talking about his love for Domino's pizza and like how he grew up with that,
Mhm.
and so to him that was pizza. I'm paraphrasing, but how now it's like, oh, this is like has to be exactly this, and like
Yeah.
if
like
you have
super
Japanese
hardcore.
food, only a Japanese guy can cook it, or this or that. And
Oh,
there's
I
just all
see.
these like whatever, and I thought it was really interesting. And that show in general was really cool, but it was kind of like, well, it's all relative. Everything, like you and I didn't grow up with anything money wise
No.
and stuff. I was thinking about this earlier of like, with restaurants and like, it used to be even like my dad would say going to McDonald's was like the like once in a year thing, like, you know, like the birthday or whatever. And then
I remember going to McDonald's. Like, it was a big deal.
yeah. Okay.
I remember my first chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it?
It's awesome. And dipping it in the sweet and sour sauce.
Okay. Sweet and sour is good. We discussed this on the Grady Spencer podcast with the sauces, Chick-fil-A. We, for some reason, I love TGI Fridays. Yeah, but this shows
they have those like bacon bombers or something.
Bacon bombers.
Isn't that what they're called? Potato skins, right?
That sounds like something on the menu. But that was seriously like for my birthday, I'd be like, let's go to TGI. I want to go to TGI Fridays as a kid. So I don't know. Maybe that's the white trash in me or whatever.
The only time I ever go to Fridays is like is waiting for a flight now, like in Terminal A or C, one of them.
Applebee's, we talked about our love for Applebee's on one of the podcasts, I think. So I don't know. That's and two.
We did that Christmas Day once.
We didn't discuss this because we weren't feeling well, but our chain gang group or whatever that goes to Olive Garden, we missed out on Olive Garden this week. Tell us about that.
So if I'm going to rank them, OG's at the top for me as far as chains go. And so there's this little group of our friends. You kind of have to be like, asked to be invited. It's a big deal. Invite only. We're getting the private room at the Olive Garden off Ridgemar or by Ridgemar. That dying mall, RIP. We're getting bottled wine. If you sit at the bar while you're waiting for your table, drinks are half off. So I've got photos of my friends holding multiple glasses of wine, just waiting for their table. I don't want our waiter to hear this, but we've lied and said it's someone's birthday. So they bring out like the whole shebang. They got like cake, all this stuff.
Which, they just hate that.
Yeah, but
they don't want to sing.
It's so much fun for us. I know restaurants very well, and I know that.
To tie it into the other thing, that was like my Italian experience growing
up. I think that's why I love it so much.
Our parents weren't flying to Italy, so we could taste.
No, never even been there.
Homemade pasta. So there is a weird, sort of connection you have to.
Yeah, and they give you Andes mints.
They do. Those are really good.
Which is very Italian.
The breadsticks too. Are they Italian?
No, that's what I'm saying.
I was like,
so anyway, we've done this 3 or 4 times. And then this past Friday, it was a Friday night too, which is like, okay.
It's booming.
Yeah.
It's hopping.
It's a 30-minute wait plus.
Yeah. Everybody's got their tank tops on, just ready.
We were under the weather.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to go, which I'm super bummed about. So then the next day, I text and I'm like, give me the deets. What's up? Who served you? Did you have the private room? How many bottles?
What about the appetizers?
Did people get drunk? Yeah. What did everyone order? How much Alfredo sauce did you guys eat? And they were like, it fell apart. It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
You guys weren't there. The puzzle broke. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so they kind of broke it down. They said like the fire alarm went off. All of these different things happened.
For like 5 minutes.
And they even sent a video because I was like, you guys are kidding. Like, what are you talking about? Fire alarm. Yeah, it's a video that's like literally just like blaring.
The waiter
that we normally request and will wait for was not there. He had hurt his leg or foot or something, so he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So they were just like all around terrible experience. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, not good.
So then I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't go. But was that the missing part? Would it have been good if we'd gone? Would those things have happened?
Probably not.
Gustavo wouldn't have served us, and it wouldn't have been good.
Yeah, then that and multiple people got diarrhea too.
I wasn't going to say that part.
I think
I said very well.
Maybe don't order shrimp at that establishment, but
man. So where else should we go?
I always liked Chili's.
Dude, Applebee's is probably the best people watching.
Oh yeah.
We did that Christmas Day 2 years ago.
Right. And I
outrageous.
Live tweeted the whole thing, and a lot of people really enjoyed that.
And it was the best. Packed to the brim, that restaurant was.
Did we? I felt like we talked about that.
I think we did.
We? Yeah. We have a interesting, because then in that, my friend got married in the middle of freaking nowhere, Georgia, and that was the one restaurant we went to.
Yeah. It's like the one place to get a beer.
And then we showed up before the wedding. That was the only place to get some drinks. And so it was literally like the entire wedding party in tuxedos.
You went to
just eating
Applebee's
at
like 3
Applebee's.
times in 2 days.
Well, where else are you going to go? And, whatever Georgia. I don't want to talk shit about Georgia, but it sucks. I would have moved. But yeah. So Olive Garden, we missed out. We suck. We support them wholeheartedly, even though it sounds like they had some issues. But
next time.
Literally, though, driving the other day, every single restaurant that I drove by had a now hiring sign.
Oh, 100%.
Fast food, full service, quick service, like, and not only that, but like every business, really. I mean, it seems like so. We talked about this, and we talked about it last week, I think. But it's just like, fire alarm going off. That's something probably to worry about. But the other stuff, it's like it's tough out there. So
has the like Governor Abbott was like, we're not doing this unemployment stuff anymore for Texas. Has that gone through yet?
I think it was the 26th of last month.
Okay.
Where
people are maybe starting to look more.
I guess I really don't know how much of that is how much and I'm going to try to talk and then pull up this tweet that you sent me the other day actually. Because unemployment, I think, is a big symptom of it, but it's not like there's so many other reasons why, people don't want to work or whatever. But
right.
This was in the Dallas Morning News, and it's the title, "Here's Why Some Workers Want to Make a Move. A quarter of workers are looking to make a change, according to some survey," which again is like, who takes surveys? First of all, I'm never going to answer that.
Yeah.
Somebody, calls or whatever. So that it's, read. We
Is
talk
that a
about
call or email?
maybe an email.
Yeah.
Which then maybe. Those workers said they wanted more pay, more work-life balance, and opportunities to grow and learn. So of why workers want to move, 50% said compensation, which, makes sense. Because I think, especially in the restaurant industry, most of the time, everyone's underpaid. You're trying to keep margins and everything as low as possible, or whatever. It's like on average, I think the average restaurant makes 6% profit a year is what it was at least a couple years ago from some
pre-COVID
thing
even.
that I can't quote, but some dumb book I read. So if you think about that, you make every $100 of sales you have, you make $6.
Mm.
So, we're dumb. Why are we in the business we are? But, so I think too, I mean, there's a lot of things that drive that, but like, to the restaurant industry in general, a lot of back of house workers are minorities, people that have come, immigrants to the country, so you can pay less and all this. And, we've always paid way more than the average pay especially for back of house. But then the other issue, then almost all front of house workers are tipped employees. So like in Texas, it's like $2 or something an hour for tipped employees is like minimum wage. But if you work let's be honest, if you work at our bar, you're pulling $400 or $500 a shift, or if you work at Joe T's or someplace like that, you're making plenty of money, but you can't rely on that really, if you're somebody like us with a fan. I don't know. I'm getting into a lot of whatever. So number one was compensation, why some workers want to make a move. Number two, at 38%, work-life balance. That makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. It also is like I feel like the younger you are, the more you don't want to work. No offense to anyone, but just being in our industry, it's like the younger you are, it's like, oh, I didn't want to have to mop or do something today, whatever it is. So I guess I'm just going to quit.
Right.
And then I'll just my rent is due tomorrow, but I'll just figure that out somehow. Right. It's an interesting way to live. Yeah.
Well, work-life balance is that's
I run a YouTube more than.
Well, I mean,
work.
Yeah, but it's also if you want, Paul knows this, anyone who's an entrepreneur, if you're an owner of a business or, something like that, you don't have a work-life balance.
No,
That's
you
not
just
even,
work.
like an option.
That's why we waited 10 years to have a child.
So that's, whatever. But I understand that at 34% growth opportunities. That's to a lot of and this, to be clear, this isn't tied to restaurants. This is just in general.
Workers in general.
So, a lot of people, maybe they're in a job where they don't have an opportunity to move up.
Yeah.
I get that.
Mm-hmm.
24% tired of the same work things. That's kind of, I think, related to we get that a lot where it's like restaurants are kind of the same thing every day, but then there's also like
different characters.
Yeah, just, there's other stuff that makes it a little more fun. Here's how employers are responding to the surge in turnover. From the same Dallas Morning News. To help retain and recruit workers, companies are boosting pay, offering flexible work arrangements, and adding more training offerings, among other incentives. So 76% of employers are increasing wages. Done. We definitely did that. 65% are intensifying recruiting. Yes, also.
100%.
38% more training. 37% increased bonuses.
Yep.
22% improved work conditions. I don't know how to quantify that. I feel like we generally have good work conditions.
Maybe it's like hopefully. You get a new stapler if you had a bad one at other jobs.
Increased benefits. I mean, we've already provided full benefits.
But I mean, it has been rough for us with employment, but I also think that like the core, like true Heim lover staff people, team members have hung in there with it. And we have been great with, everything COVID wise. And I feel like we've done our part to maintain the staff that we have, but then there's always like those fringe staffers that are going to just turn over. That's just how it is. But we've had people that have worked for us for 6 years. I mean,
and the majority, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anyone who's with us, let's say multiple years that left during COVID.
I don't think anyone.
A lot of some of the newer folks, but then too, they weren't with us that long or whatever. And I hate too, we always bring it back to us, which is like not, I don't want to talk about the ins and outs of our business, but I think it's a freaking weird time, man. And there's so much going on, and the inflation is crazy. That's only gonna go cost like $90 to fill up my truck the other day.
I know.
It's just like a whole nother issue, but we keep printing money, so just keep it going. What to segue into another topic?
Yeah.
I want to talk about Kenny Rosso. I know you don't want to, but for a long time, one of my favorite follows has been Kenny Rosso, Thunderbird Pies. We know Jay Jerrier, who's the founder, CEO, whatever, his title of the company. Delicious Pizza. Our friend Jeff Bekovic, who I've tried to hire like 20 times.
Jeff.
He's too expensive, but
we love Jeff.
And he's all right. He's an Aggie, so you got to kind of weigh that when you're but it's neither here nor there. So they are aggressive on social media.
They are.
Which I know you've gotten upset at me a few times because I got a quick trigger, especially when it comes to Twitter. But I want to talk about this incident. So they had a gentleman. So this is also like, you have no idea what you're talking about to some people that complain.
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah.
Because so they do a Detroit style pizza concept called Thunderbirds, which is
great name.
I know. I wanted
it's a really good name.
I wanted to open a chicken place, like a Chick-fil-A knockoff hot chicken thing called Thunderbird. And I told Jeff, you stole my name, but it's generic, so I get it. They do a Detroit style thing, but it's out of like a ghost kitchen out of their Kenny Rosso restaurants, right?
Yeah.
So you're with me.
Yeah.
So they only do it Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
This is a COVID thing. It was just like, hey, let's do this because we can
kind of like our pizza
delivery
sales.
Exactly. Like they're just like, hey, maybe this, and it blew up and people are like, this is insane. I love this pizza. This is awesome. So it worked out really well. So this guy, Tim, This is his comment. Ridiculous in all capitals, which is like just off the bat. That's what you write. So anyway, ridiculous that you're trying to steer people to order Detroit style pizza only Monday through Thursday and won't make them on weekends, ! WTF ? Have you ever heard of how to turn your customers off? And then in all capitals, dumb, dumb, dumb.
Is this on Facebook?
This was on Facebook.
First of all, Facebook.
Well,
you never know what you're going to get from a customer on Facebook.
So they responded as a company, hey, Tim, chill out. you can stop commenting and we can have a discussion if you calm the F down, which F
is the actual 4-letter word.
No, the letter.
Oh, the letter.
Yeah.
Okay, at this point.
Just to be clear. And he wrote WTF, the letters.
WTF.
So then Tim fires off 3 comments that are all within the same minute. So, he's just hot.
Just going.
I'm not chilling, dude. Don't tell me WTF to do. You chill, dude. The most ridiculous decision in all of restaurant history.
What?
Let's pause there. The most ridiculous decision in all of restaurant history.
That's a lot of decisions.
How long have there been restaurants? Hundreds of years?
Hundreds of years. That's the most ridiculous one.
Next comment, calm the F with the letter down, all capitals with like what's the greater than? Which must have been a misfire, and then a question mark. Then the next comment, all capitals, really, arrow pointing to his last comment.
Okay.
So he's like, just
look at this one.
Look at this. The next comment, who the F are you to throw an F-bomb at me? Again, all letters, which is really funny.
I think that's funny too when people don't actually just curse.
I know. So then Thunderbird Pies responds, yes, really, calm the F down, it's pizza. Again, the letter. So I feel like this is tame so far. I would have really probably let this guy have it, comment number 1, which I know this is why you're our social media person, and I'm not.
I like peace.
Well, this guy sucks.
I know. A lot of people suck.
So then he says, who TF taught you anything about customer service or that the customer is always right?
No.
So this tells you the exact kind of person this guy.
Right.
The customer is always right. So no matter what I say or what I do or whatever, I'm right. You're wrong.
I can do this to every single place because I'm always right.
And I can just be a jerk. You are a doofus. So again,
maybe it's
after all of these Fs and everything, you are a doofus. Okay. Yelp and every other platform, here I come.
Oh gosh, it's my favorite threat.
And that's all it's good for. But I'll continue just so we can get through this. This is Tim again. That's the all capital letters. Third time you have told me to calm the F down, ! No worries. I will be calling the corporate headquarters tomorrow. Hilarious. And letting them know about your BS attitude toward customers. Unreal. Take a chill gummy, dude. Which is a funny way to end
Maybe
that.
he was on gummies.
And then Thunderbird Pies responds, I am corporate, motherfucker. Which is burn it down.
Oh my
the best.
gosh.
Then they said the customer is not always right. Sometimes the customer is being ridiculous. And then it continues. He's writes on Yelp or does all this other crap.
Did he call corporate? I wonder. Who would he call?
Jeff.
Amadors.
Yeah, who's the social media guy.
Probably the one commenting that.
He is, yeah.
Okay.
So then they did a Dallas Observer did an article,
Yeah,
which was really
I read
funny.
that.
But, we discussed this the other day, and I feel like I know where you're coming from, but I absolutely love it. I wish we could cuss more people out like that. What do you think?
I just don't. I mean, I appreciate them. I love their pizza. I love Jeff and Jay and Jeff. I just have just can't do it personally. And I run social, and whenever I hand it off to whoever, whenever that day comes, they will not do that either. It's just how I personally, I think that there's always a way to resolve an issue personally. So
Even if like this guy was like second comment, I'm going to Yelp, you guys suck, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I still would explain it, like why we do it. And this is what we train our people to. But I think
Do
it's
you think
hilarious.
it's
I think
like-
it's it was like they did a t-shirt and stuff. Like, I think it's hilarious. I personally, I just can't.
I guess I'm thinking like, I don't negotiate with terrorists. So this guy,
Then block him and like get out of here.
well, yeah, you could do that.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, because some people in the world are just like complete assholes. I also do have an issue with like, I never want to say anything that I know for a fact this is going to get screenshot and like put on Yelp or put somewhere. So I also have an issue with that kind of stuff. Like, I don't ever want to like leave a trail and be like, hey, you MF, like.
Well, so then
because
someone
of
can take it
those-
out of context and,
Yeah.
and be like, these people suck. Which I will give an example. And I think we talked about this on the podcast. I don't know. But dealing with the mask issue at restaurants has been a nightmare for the last year.
Yeah.
And like for us, we're the owners. We say, okay, this is our policy, whatever. We're not the ones standing at the door telling people to put a mask on, to do whatever. So we had an incident where, not really the same as this, but it was a Facebook thing. But this gentleman, this older guy, came in and was with his family, didn't have a mask on. They told him to put a mask on. This was like, I don't know, last year,
I want to say like last fall.
the height of COVID.
Yeah, like
right?
August, September.
When we're at 50% occupancy, we can have 24 people in Magnolia restaurant. And this, just ray of sunshine happened to be one of them. And so he doesn't want to wear a mask, gives the people shit, gets the drink, and then goes to sit down, and then gets his cup, and then was like, okay, I'm going to go fill up my drink. So then he walks from the table to the fountain drinks without a mask on.
Yeah, he had it like on his chin or whatever.
Goes to, and then so the 18-year-old young girl, sweet cashier, sir, can you please put your mask on when you're not at your table? Causes a scene, does a whole thing. Sits down at the table, and let's say Paul, is the cashier. Then he has a long sleeve shirt on, pulls his shirt back, and then does like middle finger to an 18-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And
So then we get a phone call.
no, so then we got a Facebook comment where a guy said, they threw me out of the restaurant because
And I'm a veteran.
because I am a veteran.
That's right.
And I was wearing
Totally,
a Vietnam veteran shirt, which is like, sure, that's our business policy. We just find veterans and throw them out immediately. It's like, give me a fucking break. So,
No, I mean, there are uncontrollable. I see where you're getting. There are like the uncontrollable, like this person shouldn't be allowed in the restaurant. Maybe this Tim person shouldn't ever be allowed.
well, to finish this story and why it relates to the Facebook and all that, then he comments that and gives us like a not recommend or whatever on Facebook. I literally pull the security because I'm like, what the hell? We're throwing veterans out of our restaurant. Immediately call the manager.
Did this really happen?
What's going on? This is not good and, not something we approve of. And then he tells me the story. I pull it up on the cameras. I literally post the video of him because then he walks over to the table, takes his mask off and like shakes his head, and it's just like a whole like
It's like so overboard.
finally free from this oppression of this barbecue
That like we
restaurant.
started, like we're the reason that masks are
exactly
a rule.
Yeah.
No,
we
we're not.
invented COVID, and then flips off the cashier, and then I thought the manager handled it really well, gave them their money back, just told them, hey, we don't do that here, get the hell out, whatever. Posted the video on, this is what happened, posted the video to his comment and was like, no, man, this is our
Here's
policy.
proof.
This is what happened. Because I didn't want him, because then other people were like, they threw you out because you're a veteran? Well, we're going to riot that place. And
Yeah.
like, oh my God. So Then when I commented that, I forget what he wrote, but he was like, that's not me or something, like some sort. And it was like, even then I have it. You see his profile picture, you see the video. There's no way that this is not the guy describing the same event and exactly what happened at the time and everything else. And he was just like, no, that's not what happened. They threw me out because of this or that. So my point is, that guy's a piece of shit. This Tim guy's probably a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And there's not really.
Well, that's where you cut ties, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I know, and Tim on this post was continually posting, which does like
I'm getting fired up just thinking
jar
about
the
it.
nerves. Well, that's why I handled this side of things. But yeah, I don't know. I totally get it why they felt the way they should to respond the way they should. You know, like I'm gonna say just like I'm corporate MFer and like I get it. I think it's hilarious.
Which that was after like 5 comments though. I felt like they tried to de-escalate a little bit, and then finally it was just like, I'm just gonna roast this guy.
Yeah.
And then now
More power to them.
selling.
It's hilarious.
I think it's hilarious. That's all. And then I saw a guy who is, comes to the restaurant a lot that owns a landscaping business, and he was like, I wish I could say
Everyone wants to. See, that's the thing is like I would love, and like maybe they're just more ballsy than anybody else. Like, I mean, they always have been this way. I think it's hilarious. I just still come from like the side of like we came from nothing and we're so thankful that we're here.
Right.
And like, I'm just completely in that boat 24/7 whenever I'm posting, even every day when I'm posting a photo, I'm like, I mean, it's really like a please come to our restaurant every single day.
Well,
I just am like in that mindset.
I think you have probably a different perspective maybe or worldview than I do. Like everything you're saying is basically like you're thinking, even this guy and this experience, which like his thing was like he's just upset he couldn't order pizza, which is like stupid. It's not like they did anything or screwed up his
like
order.
He's alive still.
Then you're like, okay, maybe there's,
I know what you're going to say, I think.
What I'm going to say is I think you, and this is a great quality to have, you're like, maybe I can still save this customer. Maybe there's a way where, hey, it
doesn't even have to be a save. It just has to be this is why we do it. And then I can say, and I'm so sorry if you don't enjoy that or like that, or it's not your cup of tea, but this is how we do it. And then if he at that point wants to like, continue, then that's where it's like, I'm sorry, sir, and like cut him off.
Right.
But I thought you were going to say like, I innately see everyone as good people.
That's what I was going to say.
Knew it.
But then you interrupted me.
Sorry.
Whereas I see most people I interact with, especially on social media, are just the worst.
Yeah.
I think social media is like the worst thing that ever
You're all about
happened.
Twitter. Twitter sucks, in my opinion.
Well, it is.
It's like the negative. It's the negative of the. I mean, I hate Facebook. Out of Instagram,
Facebook sucks.
Instagram and Twitter, then Twitter is the least.
Instagram's great because it's just photos.
It's just photos, but people can still comment some stuff, man.
There are some funny comments on there sometimes.
So, are you saying I can do that now? I can comment like that? I just can't. I just can't do it.
I don't think you physically can.
I think I wouldn't sleep that night. I would stay up and be like, oh my God, I second guess that was so bad. I shouldn't have done that.
Whereas I told a guy to F off on Twitter the other day and he got really upset at me. And so I have made a vow that I will not do that anymore.
Must be so hard for you.
But it's
right, Trav. I feel in your little heart, after that, you were like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, I felt that
Not
way,
just because I got
but
irritated.
it was just because I was like, him is going to talk to me about this. And
Whatever, dude. I can't do it. I know. It is hilarious that they do it. My business method. If you're gonna like come at me and my like person or something, then like I'll have an issue. If it's like a rando, like think of how many random people we serve every single day. Like,
Right.
Of course we're gonna have nutsos, and then you just kind of like go through them and like, okay, that person's nuts, and then you like know that
Right.
you're gonna deal with that. So
Yeah.
I don't feel like escalating it is a necessity, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah. Because then it just, especially with that, person is just going to make it even worse. Then now he's going to create
And not
50 Yelp accounts
Yeah,
to
yeah,
write
yeah.
Yelp reviews and do
user01
other
at gmail.com.
ridiculous stuff. But anyway, I love those guys, and I hope that,
I hope
no
they
one-
made a lot of money on the shirts.
Well, I think it's a huge drama that, most people are like, oh, this is great.
But that's what the other side of it is, that a lot of people respect that because they, people like me,
Yeah.
Heim Barbecue isn't going to be like, hey, mother effer. I'm sorry, I almost said it. I don't want to say it. And so, I think people in general know that restaurants do kind of take, if you're a cool person, restaurants do take slack
every day,
all the time.
every day.
And so when someone like Thunderbirds, Canny Rosso is like, hey, actually, this is how it is, and this is what we're dealing with, and
not
just
gonna
straight
take
up,
your
it kind of
crap,
is. I think that's why you do have a lot of followers on Twitter, because they know you're gonna like say funny stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just scared. I'm just like, I think I'm just too nice of a person.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, anyway,
Whoops.
shout out to them. I thought it was hilarious, and I wish I could do that more. But we haven't got a lot of complaints lately.
No.
Knock
You know
on
what
wood,
the
but
biggest complaints have
we're
been?
doing
And
all right.
like, if all of, we did have to raise our prices, as sucky as that is
Like
currently,
every restaurant
every single
in
restaurant
America,
has, as
but
well as
yeah.
labor costs and all of that stuff, labor wages and all. But like, no one has said anything about plates or meat prices, like by the bulk or sides. The only thing I've had complaints on is the taco plate.
right, which
Which
we
is
did
like,
as,
hey
a
guys, that's the
special.
same meat that is from like the brisket that we also had to raise prices. Then the tacos also got raised because it's that meat. So I've gotten messages about that, which is really funny.
And we talked about that, like, whatever the brisket, you get like 2 tacos, you get chips and queso, salsa for the combo, right?
Yeah.
You can add cheese or whatever. So we raised it like $2, $3 or something.
It was $9.99. I think it's $13.99 now.
Okay, well, that is a lot, but
But it's a whole
at
meal.
the end of the day, that brisket is cooked for like 16 hours.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Now, I think we said $5.30 last week.
Yeah, and their
This
homemade
week is-
taco or tortillas.
This week is $5.20 a pound is what we're paying for brisket. So you're getting CAB prime brisket that, basically 24 hours of labor went into and all
Right.
that. So, but that's maybe a thing that just, I think like places like Canny Rosso run into this where, and it's a huge thing for barbecue, but maybe not as much the last couple of years, but these foods should be like inherently cheap. Like
Right.
barbecue should be affordable, which is something I agree with, but pizza, burgers, like all that stuff. So now when you're paying outrageous prices,
Mhm.
not just for meat, but for everything else on the menu, down to like plastic gloves, all the stuff that we're having to deal with. And then people are like, well, a taco should be $2, taco should be cheap
Yeah.
or whatever. So I think that just
Well,
part
and also like during COVID, we were like, that's when we started $2 corn dog, like
Right.
$2 Tuesday, $2 draft beer, like Wednesday, all those things. Like we did those and marketed them as like deals. And
Dude, we're ahead of the trend now. There's craft barbecue places opening corn dog food trucks
Ooh.
and other stuff. So
but now that, COVID is over and prices of our products has just gone up, we've had to go up on the deal prices. And so I think that's hard for some people to understand.
and I get it. I completely get it. But
But then they just say, like, we still really love you guys. I'm like, okay, thanks.
well, thanks. Yeah, hey, I appreciate that.
Okay.
I mean, if Tim had said that, maybe it would have gone a different way. But
Tim.
I want to talk about my Peloton journey. You bought a Peloton
Yeah.
a year ago, 2 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe. And you're pretty active on it, I
Yeah.
would say.
I like it.
I've just finally given in. I've done a couple rides and then I felt like shit. I was actually going to try today, maybe to do it again. And I do the beginners classes,
Mhm.
which still just absolutely kick my ass. But our friend Bob Sturm, he's like huge on Peloton.
Yeah.
My friend Jordan, I was going to say, he's done like 1,700 rides. That's insane.
Speaking
like
of Kenny and
5
Rosa,
a day.
Jeff does them too.
Oh, Beck, yeah. Yeah, he's an
A
animal.
lot of people, you don't realize until you have a Peloton that there's a lot of people that are riding on Pelotons.
Which then
around the world.
This leads into my next question. Is this a cult? Have I just been indoctrinated into some sort of weird underground
for
thing?
me, like with Izzy, and if I know like, okay, I'm going to be like hunkered down working at the house or whatever today, and like I put her down for a nap and I get on the Peloton, it literally feels like I like left the house. Like I'm like in another world. I'm zoned in, and it's an awesome like 30 minutes, and then you realize how much pain you're in or whatever. But it is kind of like a cult. Like you're like, okay.
Glad you admitted that. Okay.
Okay. Well, there you go.
It's weird. And I don't like
What?
the instructors. I said this too on Twitter, but they're like, all right, just keep smiling. Everybody smile. And
That's
I'm like,
because you're in the beginner's
I haven't smiled
class.
at all. Did they not say that in the other classes?
No, in the other classes, they're like, okay, what is his name? Corey Rigsby, I think is his name.
Okay.
One
He's
of
the
my
guy you
favorites.
like. Yeah.
And he'll be like, let's talk about, like, it'll be like all Spice Girls or something, or like all like, you know, girl bands or boy bands or like all Enrique Iglesias or something. And he's just like, okay, let's rank these. Like, who's the best? Or he'll be like, only the true fans know this song. And then I'll be like, oh my God, I'm a true fan because I know this song. So then he'll be like dancing. You're like, you know, and then you're like, oh my gosh, now we're in cool down.
Right.
I like those kind of rides. I don't like the ones where it's like, we know this sucks, but just don't think about the world. You're on this bike right now and let's zone in. It's like, no, like
That's almost exactly what the one
I know, because that's what they always say.
And
that's
then
like
the other
yoga. Leave it
thing-
on the mat.
It was also like classic rock, I think I did. And the girl's like, just feel the music. Just get into it. Just, you know, just get fit. It was an Uncle Cracker song. Uncle Cracker. Which, first of all, classic rock, really. But then, too, like, I've never really gotten into...
You do kind of have to check the music.
Can you... Well, I did look up, there's a Grateful Dead ride that's 45 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, I'm never going to do that. You know?
I don't know if I could do Grateful Dead. Like, it's got to be, like, good.
Something
like, you got to
bouncy.
zone in and, like, yeah. I don't know. That you need to try... I think his name's Corey.
I liked the girl, the redhead girl. The other girl I didn't like, really. She was, like, just intense. Like, I was like, she could beat me up. Really.
I think that's the one that, like, started it. Emma Love something.
Right. And then I told you her thing at the end is live, laugh, love well every time.
Love well, yeah.
Which I just, like, just nails on a chalkboard. I hate any type of, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know. So I'm glad you admitted it's a cult. If you want to follow my journey,
oh my God.
My username is smokedog69420. So please.
2 GGs 69420.
So you can follow me on Peloton. I have a few followers actually.
I think mine's
from
just
the
like
other day.
Emma C. Heim.
Yeah.
That's not as good.
No, you got to get creative with it. But yeah, that's fun. So follow us on there. Speaking of cults, you said something funny the other day. We didn't put this in the notes, but I want you to explain this a little more.
Oh Lord.
You had described where we were in a situation or something. You know, I don't want to give it too much, but you said I really wish I had a sister wife right now. And that was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. So, do you want to elaborate on that situation, or?
I think it was
Speaking of cults, I guess is why.
I think it was like there's like something going on with Izzy. I had to do something else. And then
we had to go to a thing that we didn't want to go to, or you didn't want to go to.
Right. I didn't want to go to this event. And I was like, dude, this is when I wish I had a sister wife. So then she could just go. And then I could just like stay at home. Yeah, that's funny.
But then I said, not a bad idea, because there are other parts of a sister wife situation that I think benefit the man. But then you said, no. Sister wife specifically for
just events.
Cleaning,
and
events, laundry.
Yeah.
Babysitting,
Yeah.
Oftentimes.
I see what you're getting at. That's not an option.
No, I mean, you said it, so. But anyway, I thought that was.
This is when I could use a sister.
It's a like a half sister wife, some sort of. It's like a sister wife, but just for
I'm not trying to
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to like be the face when I like don't want to go to events and like you're like you have to go to this and I'm like dude no, and then like she could go in my place and then I could watch Netflix.
Yeah. Almost like a Soprano thing. Like I'm the boss, but then this is like my underboss who goes and talks and does the. Basically, I just thought that was hilarious.
I forgot I said that.
Before we get to questions, I wanted to shout out because I literally told you this, and this is genius. And we follow these guys on Twitter, and I need to email them. Something that's unrelated, but there's a place called Wright's Barbecue in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is the home of the University of Arkansas. Mm-hmm. They do bacon burn-ins, which look delicious. They do brisket.
Yeah.
I think it's not, I don't know if they say they're Texas style, but they do some Texas stuff.
Yeah, it looks great.
It looks awesome. They're super nice guys. The rules changed for college athletes, which is a really cool thing. So now NIL. So college athletes can make money off of name, image, and likeness. And there's a ton of rules associated with this and things you can say and can't say and do and, whatever. I literally told you last week?
Like 2 days ago.
Was it?
I thought like 3 days ago.
3 days ago, maybe, that how funny would it be if we sponsored?
No, it was Saturday.
Oh.
How
do you remember that?
Because we had an appointment on Saturday. We were driving there.
You have a way better memory than I do. But I said we should sponsor the TCU offensive line and do like a funny video where they like come in and eat and all that. Well, of course, like a lot of things, I wait too late, and Wright's Barbecue sponsored the offensive line for Arkansas, which is hilarious. So
we could still do it.
I mean, I hate doing stuff that other people did. That's why our menu is the way it is. And, we don't have, well, that's another topic. But anyway, they're awesome. That was hilarious. They got some publicity on Twitter and other stuff for it. And I was like, God, I knew that was a great idea. So, we're open to, we've gotten a few DMs. We're open to sponsoring.
A couple baseball players have hit us up.
And the obvious thing would be TCU and football, but, maybe throw some volleyball players in there. Maybe get some other, I don't want to just discriminate.
The ladies.
Specifically to the football guys because they're probably getting a lot. But so anyway, then I wanted to mention this just because I know how you're going to react. Johnny Manziel tweeted about this where you can get money from name, image, and likeness. Give Reggie Bush his Heisman back while we're at it. Reggie Bush. Top 5. I know Dwayne Johnson's up there.
Dude.
But you had a big crush, Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
Pre-Kardashian?
Pre-Kardashian.
Okay. That was kind of
SC.
his prime. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love some SC football.
So your grandfather went to University of Southern California.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If we had, I'm comfortable saying I like SC. I root for them. Yeah. I mean, TCU is obviously our team, but he had all the memorabilia, OJ.
Like in the living room.
Yeah. Really cool stuff. And then Reggie Bush, maybe the best college football player of all time. I feel like you could throw Tim Tebow in there. I feel like maybe a Bo Jackson. Who am I leaving out? I don't know. But he was at least probably the most like electrifying, like awesome player. But you just thought he was hot.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I wanted to bring up. So anyway.
Super hot.
So give him his Heisman back. I agree. I mean, but then that's kind of like the Sha'Carri thing. Like that was the rule then. So do you get, because he got money like the.
Oh, yeah.
Allegedly they bought his parents a house or they did like all this stuff. What's wrong with that? Well, I agree. I mean, a lot of these kids going into college are like.
Had nothing.
Their family, they're the first person in their family to go. Oh, it's okay. The first person in their family to go to college, to get a degree, to do all this. And so it's like, if Nick Saban or somebody's like, hey, I'll give you a free, charger while we're at it, then it's like, okay, is that big a deal?
Don't mind if I do.
Put some rims on it. So anyway, and then I said, probably the greatest athlete of all time. I put this on Twitter, Jim Thorpe.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we give him his Olympic records back while we're at it? Because they took all his Olympic medals away and then posthumously gave his medals back, I think, to his family. But at that point, it's like, you know, so stupid. And then still, I think his records aren't in, like, officially in the Olympic thing. So the Sha'Carri thing, let's start with that. But then there's a lot of other things that they could, you know, go back and change. But I think the other highlight of this, the college football video game, one of my favorite video games of all time.
Yeah.
It's coming back, baby.
Great.
Yeah. Very exciting, right? Paul's excited. So, but then the players will actually make money off
Yeah,
of
that's
it.
good.
So that's
I think
cool.
that's good.
Let's hit some questions and then, because we're doing good
Let's
on time.
do it.
Is there any other? Oh,
F1.
F1, real briefly, shout out Mark Hoppus. You know, this is something where I don't want to spend a lot of time, but Mark Hoppus, the bassist singer for Blink-182, has cancer and announced he's going through chemo. And this was something that I think maybe I've been dealing with, but like nothing makes you feel, nothing kind of like helps you realize your mortality, like having a child or someone that you know or something like that getting cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, you know, you're like, this is crazy because that's a band I love that I grew up with. And then this guy, and I'm like, I'm still 18, right? I'm
13 years old.
You know, like nobody likes you when you're 23, you know, and like all the like whatever. And so anyway, we're praying for you and rooting for you and everything else. But, you know, that's kind of a sad deal. The other day we got sentimental and we're just I was at the restaurant just playing Blink-182 on the speakers. No, I know, but with our friends. And I'm sure everyone was like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? But anyway, shout out, Mark. We love you, dude. Formula One talk.
Yeah.
Austria Grand Prix was this weekend. What'd you think?
I thought there was a lot of 5-second delay or penalties.
Yeah, that was weird.
There was a lot of some dirty racing.
And I felt like
I'm into it.
I felt like warranted.
I didn't. Yeah.
Because Perez got two.
Yeah.
And then Lando, which I'm root for McLaren, and I like Lando, and I know you do too.
Great name.
Is it
Lando?
Isn't that a Star Wars thing? Is there a Star Wars guy, Lando?
I don't know. I don't watch Star Wars.
I don't either. Finished P2 in qualifying. Mm-hmm. So he started on the front row, which is huge for McLaren, and then pushed off Perez maybe, I think, but 5-second penalty for basically going too wide and then pushing somebody
getting him off. Off the
into
track.
the gravel. But then Lando finished driver of the day and in third place on the podium, which was huge. Once again, old Maxie, number one. I think he led the whole time, had the fastest lap, was like it wasn't even like you were racing for second basically. So
Hamilton fourth? Is that right?
Fourth.
Yeah,
fourth. And that was an interesting thing too, because then he went over the barrier thing, had a little
I think
damage.
they call it a sausage bump or something. I was like, what?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
But yeah, like had some damage. So then they had on the radio, they said, Bottas, you got to let Bottas go by because he's got the faster car, which then that goes into their drama of everything. And then also.
So Bottas was second, right?
Second.
Yeah.
And then Hamilton re-signed his contract this week. So he's there, but they still don't have a second driver yet. So that was kind of but Bottas was like, finally, this is my time.
Hell yeah, he was.
To cruise by.
Let that little light shine.
That was awesome. Do you think, Hamilton finishing fourth, do you think they can make a run at Red Bull? Because even Perez had 10-second delay, and I think still
I feel like
they're fifth.
They're all like really trying to beat Hamilton now. Like it's like they don't even care if they're first, second, or third, they're like, we just don't want him on the.
Right. I think his own teammate feels that way.
Well, yeah.
But Perez,
I'm here for it.
There's a couple
like Perez.
times Perez and Lando, when they were battling, you could tell the Red Bull car is just faster. Like in the straightaways, they're like, there's nothing they can do. So they tried to like avoid it a little bit. Shout out George Russell, who was in 10th place. And I thought this was a funny tweet. Bum Chillips at EDSBS, who's just a funny Twitter follow, always has great jokes. He tweeted, George Russell is out there getting points in a car made of off-brand Legos. I thought that was a shout out at
George Russell.
At Bum. But
that's funny.
Yeah, so they were battling in 10th, and then on 3 laps to go, Alonso took over, and they ended up not getting a point. But that would have been the first Williams point in a long time, I think.
That's crazy. They used to be so good back in the day.
Very weird. Yeah. So really good race, I thought.
Yeah.
A
lot of action.
It beats just Hamilton and Bottas
right?
going out and winning, and then you're like watching a 7th place battle. So I think Silverstone is next on the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably get this podcast out in a few days, so we'll stick to that. Before we do listener questions, restaurant spotlight of the week. We haven't done this in a little bit. One of your favorite places that you told me about, and I got to enjoy probably a month ago or something.
Yeah, I think so.
And, we took Izzy. That was fun. But tell us a little more about it.
Coco shrimp. It's so good. It's first of all just the atmosphere and everything that they've done inside the restaurant. I'm talking about the one in the near south side. I think they've opened 2 since then, or they have a food truck in one.
There's a food truck off by Western Center area,
right,
I believe.
And then I think they've just opened in Dallas or something.
I didn't get the address to that, but I got the address.
This is Bryan Avenue in the near south side.
South Main.
South Main.
Soda, Sopa, Soma.
But we love the islands in Hawaii, and they have like completely done like a whole tropical Hawaiian theme in there. So it's like you like walk in and you actually do feel like you're at like a little restaurant in Hawaii.
It's cool.
It's really cute. And what's really awesome about them too is they've done everything themselves. So they got a lease on the property and then they like changed everything. So there's like murals. They've done all, cool. Yeah, they've done a lot of their own stuff. And
Tell us about the food.
The food is shrimp, cocoa shrimp. So they do coconut shrimp. They do, I think it's like 3 or 4 different flavors of shrimp.
Some kind of garlic butter,
and then like
good.
Lemony garlic butter, rice, and then they do a salad with it, and it's really, really good. And that's what I really like about that restaurant is they figured out like this is what we do really well, and this is kind of how we feel about barbecue. Which we could always do another concept, but for our barbecue restaurants, it's like, stick to what you know and put it out great every single time. And that's what they do. And it's the same every time. It's done really well. And then you get like this plastic cup that says like Aloha Forever or something. And plastic I just really like
underrated.
It. I know.
We need to do branded plastic cups. That's like a Dickies, Rudy's thing, but
yeah. Like it's like awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really cute. And then anyway, I just think they do a great job all around. And if you haven't been, go try it out. It's an easy like lunch spot too. So if you only have like an hour, 30 minutes, whatever, they do a good job at getting you in and out. So
coconut shrimp, I could just eat probably every day.
See, I don't like coconut shrimp.
You don't?
But I go.
You don't like coconut?
I don't. That's like my one bugaboo.
Right.
But I go for like, I think it was like a lemon herb something.
Garlic something.
Something shrimp, that's really
which is
good.
Also delicious because I tried.
Yeah, you can get a sampler that's multiple different, like I think it's all the flavors or 3 of the flavors in one sampler. So anyway,
Coco shrimp,
there you go.
318 Bryan Ave. They also have the food truck that I think is still going, and then they're opening more.
I think they did open one like
so.
last week or something. I followed them on Instagram.
Good for them.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Awesome. Well, that is our restaurant spotlight. Check it out. Tell them we told you to go there, just like with the raw beer last week. Shout out. Listener questions. Do you want to pick one of these? A couple of these? Shout out to everyone who sent in questions. We kind of we didn't get a ton this week. And so
Well, these are all very, very barbecue specific.
yeah, which I did put this on Twitter. So this is like, just kind of scrape the barrel for these. But any one of those that you think?
Okay. Tyler Tex Gran. How would one that wants / dreams of being a barbecue spot owner get started with a food trailer?
What are we, an hour and 20 minutes in? Probably do an hour and 20 on this. Yeah, at Tyler TX Gran. This guy follows us on Twitter. I know we've messaged, I think, before. How would one that wants or dreams of being a barbecue spot owner get started with a food trailer? I mean, where to begin? It's never been easier. I can tell you that. I think part of like different than maybe with us 6 years ago. The first thing that I would say is get comfortable with your cooking. Like make sure
people like your food.
And to be honest, that may not even matter. Like I read an article about a guy opened a food truck and had cooked his first brisket like 6 months before that.
Wow.
So, and I think they're doing well still. So it's like, maybe that doesn't even matter anymore, but, learn as much as you can about the process and how to cook. You can literally watch a master class with Aaron Franklin now. You can look up YouTube videos, anything.
You can take a class with Travis Heim, Heim Barbecue.
Yeah, you can. And I'll tell you pretty much everything, all of our secrets. But yeah, you want to get comfortable. But like even back in the day with us, you couldn't buy a smoker. Now you can just buy a smoker from Moberg, from Millscale, from there's a bunch of other
back in the day when we did it, there wasn't a maker.
No, you had to build your own.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
That's how much things have changed in the last.
You guys got it good.
You can just buy one, learn how to use that. 2, there's a great book called Setting the Table. That's why I have this tattoo, Danny Meyer. Near the end of the book, he talks about in relation to opening new restaurants or new locations. And one of the things of that, there's like 6 things, I think, but one that stuck out to me is talking about market share, talking about like specifically with barbecue. If I'm going to do that and open a food truck for the first time, should I do it within a block of a well-established barbecue place? Not if you want to be successful and long-term. Like what I would do is go to a place where there's not any competition or a place where I know I like this market, people want this food, whether it's barbecue or whatever. But where there's not anything like that. And I know, okay, at least I'm kind of on my own and I can do that. So one, I would say, just make sure you know what the hell you're doing food wise. It's really not that expensive anymore either. You can buy a food truck, you could buy a smoker, you could do, just save some money and do that. And then I think too, the way that we started and the way that a lot of places are or have started, just do like 1 day a week, just do like 2 days a week, like do it to where you can manage it and you're comfortable. You go till you sell out, you make sure every single bite that you serve is perfect and all that. And then 2, that's, artificial scarcity. That's a way to get more people to, oh, wow, have you heard about this place? They sell out super early. Daniel Vaughn's going to write a 20-page article about you. And I'm sorry. Do you feel like you're getting uncomfortable with me talking about this? But, I think the biggest thing that we've talked about is you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And I think the thing that I see a lot of times now is where maybe I'm more focused on getting the acclaim and the celebrity and all that than I am on the actual food.
Agreed.
And that's what drives me nuts. But maybe that doesn't even matter.
It drives you nuts because you know how hard it is to do it. And it's not about, you shouldn't be focused on getting the, at quotation marks, fame or recognition. You should be focused on serving your people quality, great food.
Right.
That part, the like recognition, the love from the community, all of that stuff will come to play as it is supposed to. And because you're doing it right. So
You're
that's
absolutely
completely backwards to go into it being like, I hope I get top 50. I hope that, I'm in, Fort Worth Magazine or whatever locally and all of those things.
Every review has to be
That's
perfect. and has to
100%
be-
backwards. Serving your community, being good to people,
Yeah.
treating your staff right, doing, those things first. You're not going to not get the acclaim
Right.
if you're doing it that
It's
way.
a result of all of that.
Right.
And so anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but I think, it seems like it's an easy thing to do nowadays. If you want to open a deal
That's
like
because
that.
we have 3 and 1 on the way.
Yeah, but I mean, like shout out to Brian, who left Bodacious, and then he's opening his own thing.
Sunbird.
He bought a food truck, like saved a bunch of money. He worked there for a long time. They're top 10, Texas Monthly, whatever. The guy clearly knows what he's doing, and also on the basics, but it's doing more creative stuff and all that, and opened the food truck where he lives in Longview, which, as we know from just spending time there, there's not a lot of really good barbecue options. We can say that. And so, too, all of those things leading to the guy knows what he's doing from a food standpoint. He's going to be serving great stuff. Found a spot where he knows that there's a market that people are going to come to, and is just doing it how he can do it, and cooking as much as he can, and then sort of slowly building from that. And so I'm sure within a year he'll probably have a new smoker, have a thing, who knows. But
he's got lines so long. I've seen some photos on social.
But it's a great example of like looking at somebody now and how to do that. And I think he's really doing it all the same way. If you open in a big city or something like a Fort Worth, Dallas, Houston, you have a ton of competition. It's really tough. You're going up against other food trucks, but also other restaurants and stuff. So that's what I'd say, find your market, find your niche thing,
and
something.
do
what
what
am
you
I
can
doing?
do.
Yeah. What is something I'm doing even that's a little bit different, or this is our own spin. Like when we opened the food truck, we did bacon burn-ins that didn't even exist. And so that was another thing where people are like, oh, this is cool. It's barbecue, but you have this. Did I even answer that question? I don't know.
I mean, and
Sort
also
of.
like, don't quit your job until it's good.
Well, we learned that. Yeah. I mean,
Well, you didn't have a job, and then I maintained like our actual like rent and paying bills while you were building, smoking and all that stuff. And then I was able to quit.
Right. And then that was when we were 2 days a week, and then we were able to open more and just kind of build it. But if we hadn't started small like that, then, you can't just go into it and go 7 days a week.
Exactly.
And all that. I mean, you got to really, really balance it, which, it's super interesting, but yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we answered that kind of. Yeah.
Gary W. Patterson won best wood to smoke ribs.
This is not Coach Patterson, by the way. This is a different guy, but this guy follows us on Twitter, always is writing questions, so we really appreciate it. I like pecan, to be honest, because
For
I
ribs,
think
for pork ribs,
for smaller, like quicker cooks, like something ribs take 3 or 4 hours, depending on what you're doing. A turkey or something like that. I like a wood that has a little more fragrance to it, a fruit wood, like a pecan, apple, peach, even a cherry, it just has kind of some sweetness to it. So it's another sort of, you're thinking about flavoring, one is the meat, one is the rub, one is the sauce, and then the smoke too. There's an element of flavor with the smoke. So if you're using like a mesquite, it's going to be super, super strong, powerful, but like in a Valentina's taco, that's what I want.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, delicious. Or like a really good steak, a mesquite's good. Oak is good. It's just a lot more balanced. So I prefer it for brisket, for really anything, pork butts, beef ribs, anything kind of that's going to take a while. Because again, I want a balance of the flavors. On the ribs, it's almost like that's fine. Pork ribs. So I'd say pecan.
Yeah.
I had a thing where my dad said my grandfather would only use pignut wood, I think. And It's like, what the hell does that mean? Is that just some weird Marshall, Texas bullshit?
Yeah.
And I was at a Food Waste Texas event, and I said that to Rob Walsh, who's an author, great author of Texas kind of barbecue, food historian, wrote Legends of Texas Barbecue, a bunch of other books. And I was like, have you ever heard of that? What the hell is that? And I guess he said that he had heard that it's hickory, basically.
Okay.
I guess there is a hickory nut that resembles maybe the testicles of a pig or something.
Okay.
Like there's some sort
Specifics.
there's some sort of weird connection there. And
Okay.
so if you use pig nut, but he was like, I've only like that's such a
That's
weird
interesting
thing that you would question.
that you would know
ask
that.
me. And I was like, well, sorry. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing here either. So
I got a question about flying with our meat. I think last week
yeah.
I mentioned that my best friend was in town from LA and it was Father's Day. And so she was going to basically take home a bunch of meat for their Father's Day celebration, and totally doable. Someone asked if they could stop at our Mockingbird Dallas location before getting on a flight to California specifically, but getting on a flight in general, if they could pick up a whole brisket and take that on the flight. 100%, yeah, you can.
right.
The only thing I would suggest is if you are going to be traveling long, let us know like 48 hours in advance and we can vac seal and chill it for you. And then that way you can take it on the flight with some like freezer bags or whatever. And then that way it's good to go.
It's a food safety thing more than anything. Like you
For
can
sure.
buy whatever you want and take it with you, but we would
For us personally.
we would rather it make, if you're serving it at the optimum temperature and everything and making sure everything's, kosher. So, you can always message us ahead of time. We've frozen briskets, ribs,
Yeah.
anything,
And you can also, if you're just like, oh, I should have, done a brisket myself or whatever for this party this afternoon and I didn't. Well, first of all, if you're doing a brisket that late, then you're not going to make it. But you can always go to any of our locations and pick up a whole brisket. We'll weigh it out and charge by the pound. So anyway, there you go.
Awesome. Any of these other questions or you think we're good?
I think
an hour
we're
and a half
good.
in.
Let's do some Patreon
Shout out. So a podcast that I love, this was a thing that they would do. And so we're gonna steal it and start doing it. So we wanted to shout out, especially the last 6 months. We haven't done a podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
And so we lost a couple patrons, which is understandable, but we just wanted to shout out everybody. So I don't know if we'll do this every week. We may shout out like new Patreon people.
Patrons.
Patrons? Patreons?
Patreons.
Patrons?
All right.
Road. So, number one, the Todd Father.
Oh, Todd.
Which
Love
you can
Todd.
put in like creative names. You don't have to just put your name. So, like the Todd Father, which is our friend Todd. Should we say last names?
Todd
Most of these people are
Blackburn.
friends. Yeah, so Todd's awesome.
Deadhead friend of ours. We usually go to shows with them. Always,
Great guy.
always a party.
Him and his wife, I hope we're like them
I
when we
know.
grow up because they're both
the
just
best.
super athletic and fit.
They're Pelotoners.
Well, there you have it. I am too now.
They're in the
so
cult.
I think I can
Oh
say
God.
that. Are they in the cult?
I'm pretty sure they're in the cult.
Well, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now. Martin Pillar, that's a good friend of mine, probably our number one best golfing listener. Martin's on the Corn Ferry Tour. And again, an Aggie, but we appreciate your support, Martin. We're rooting for you every week. And Conrad, they're having a baby, our friend, and he's a little boy. He sent me the video thing. So they're good guys. Steve Timmons.
Steve.
We've talked about this before. It's like having a favorite kid or whatever. I can definitively say our favorite staff member, my favorite staff
Steve.
member. Yeah. I mean, everyone else can, if their feelings are hurt or whatever, but I love Steve. He's a great guy. And just had to put his dog down. It's really
yesterday.
a terrible thing. So we
Never easy.
I'll tell him next time I see him.
We love you, Steve.
We love you, Steve. Gary Wilkerson has been following us forever, supporting us. Great guy. Eric and Sylvia Miner, you know them.
Who are they?
they're the reason we were late today. So
It's my parents.
our
We love you
babysitters,
guys.
they're awesome, and we would not be here without them. Stephanie Quintero, one of my best friends, who I've known since I was 4 years old, 5 years old, probably. Aunt Steph, we call her now because she is officially an aunt to our baby. Patrick Gibbons, shout out. Casey Gauss, tell me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. MT Garden, that's my buddy. T Garden, we play golf. He's a friend of my friend Dan's.
It's weird. Dan's not a Patreon.
He's probably broke. He's spending all his money on Yeezys. So he doesn't have money he doesn't have $5 for his friends. Yeah. Tea Garden too. This was,
actually, he comes to our restaurant like once a week.
Oh yeah. No, he's our best customer. And I love Dan. Tea Garden too. Side note, shout out for being an awesome Patreon member. But we played golf one time. I won't get into the whole story. This is how Tortilla Face started.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I guess I will tell the story. So we played golf. Me and Dan won. So Matt and Patrick had to buy margaritas. We go to the original Mexican restaurant on Camp Bowie, who my friend Butch owns and is a freaking great guy. I'm supposed to play golf with him soon. He messaged this weekend that he came to the river.
Yeah.
Great guy. And Butch too, I need to do this, but on his golf balls, it has the original Mexican restaurant logo. And then on the other side, it says free marg if returned.
Oh my gosh,
so literally,
that's really
if you
cute.
find one of his golf balls, you can bring it into the restaurant and
that's awesome.
get a free marg, which is
that's a good idea.
Well, especially for like me, if I'm losing balls and maybe you get a couple returned here or there. So, but so they have a bunch of just absolute gasoline margaritas at the original, which are all delicious. But there's a secret menu item called Tea Garden, which are Matt's friends, his parents, his roommates, his parents who have been going to the original, 50 years or something. So Tea Garden margarita, which is great. I would recommend an El Jefe margarita if you're going to go there. But both of them taste like lighter fluids.
They do.
It's like it doesn't really.
I met you guys after that when y'all played for margaritas, and I was like, I can't do this.
Things got out of hand quick.
And then I mean, like, I couldn't drink that margarita.
Right.
And then Dan did the tortilla face.
Yeah, and then so the name of our text group is Tortilla Face because my friend took a flour tortilla and ate the eyes and mouth and then wore it on his face like a Tex-Mex Hannibal Lecter type of thing. And I still have the videos, really, really hilarious. And I'm glad Butch wasn't there because he would have been like, these idiots. But anyway, Tea Garden, great guy. Get the margaritas at the original. Tell Butch we said hi. Mary Lou Howard.
Yeah, that's my aunt.
Yeah, she's awesome.
California.
One of the nicest people
Came for our
I've
baby
met.
shower.
Yeah, that was so nice.
Yeah.
Tyler Hall. Don't know him. Probably an awesome guy. If he listens to the Patreon, he's got to be a cool dude.
Yeah.
And then this wasn't on your list, but actually, or did you? No. This was this morning or last night. Cody Maxwell, our newest Patreon member.
All right, Cody.
Joined. Yeah, so shout out Cody. We appreciate your support for, it's like what's the like in the arms of an angel.
Oh my gosh, Sarah McCracken.
McCracken.
That's the
McLaughlin.
worst. McCracken.
Sandra McCracken.
Sandra.
Thing.
Yeah.
But for a measly $5 a month, you can support Heim Time Podcast so we can keep paying Paul to use his facilities to just talk to each other. And I don't know, maybe there's at least 12 people that listen to this, so I feel good about that.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
And our YouTube videos are doing all right. We're
yeah, I saw we had like 250 plus subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know if we have that many. That may
I
be
swear.
Okay.
252
That's
like
awesome
last
if we
night,
do.
I think.
Crazy. Yeah. And shout out to RAR. They sponsored the last podcast. We're going to get more sponsors.
Yeah, if you'd
you know,
like
or
to
try,
sponsor
but-
us, feel free.
But in the meantime, we'll just do Patreon and just keep rolling with what we're rolling. Please send in
Let's
questions.
go get some tea gardens.
Dude, I could definitely do that actually. Tea garden sounds great. And then what else? Patreon.com/HeimTime Podcast.
Yep.
YouTube, if you just search Heim Time, you'll find us. Heim Time Podcast. Twitter, I don't really use that much.
Follow us on Instagram. It's just
Instagram.
Heim Time Podcast. On Instagram. I usually try to post on there a couple times a week, do the stories. If you have any suggestions for topics, questions, I'll put up that on the story so you can send those to us through messages. But we're here for you. So if you need us, message us.
Every week we're asking for questions, topics. If you are on one of our Patreon members and want us to talk about something, we'll literally talk about it.
Yeah.
It's
More barbecue, less barbecue, more topics on the world.
I vote less
Weed,
barbecue, but it's not
business.
Yeah, this was a very weed heavy podcast at the start.
Weed
we were kind of
heavy.
talking about that for a while.
Well, it's very relevant. It's all come up, and that's what we were saying. Like, this young lady has brought it to the surface. So
If we've proven anything, this is your number one news source for all
Free
things. Free Britney,
Erica
F1,
Jane.
Peloton. Yeah, we need, maybe next podcast we'll do a Britney,
I'll have
Erica
to.
Jane
I haven't
update.
seen. Oh, I think tonight's Beverly Hills, so I'll be watching that.
Okay.
But yeah, whatever you guys want to hear about, it's not only barbecue. We want to make it relevant for the world. So if you want to hear more about whatever,
Right.
Izzy,
Small business
Travis.
topics.
get off my lawn talk, whatever, we're here for it.
There's
So
gonna be plenty more of that. So
thanks, y'all.
thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.